The glitz and glam is the fame, but it's the work backstage that makes the game. I'm Christelle Anleve Bandal, your host. Come with me behind the lens and watch their stories unfold. Welcome back to Behind the Lens. Previously, we spoke to Isaia about his experiences, his childhood, and the challenges he's had to overcome. Today, we'll get to sit and chat with him again to talk about his current career, talking about his advocacies and hopes for his work today. So, welcoming back on set is Isaia.
Thank you, Crystal.
Welcome back again. So, we touched on last time saying that you have a career in hospitality, fashion, and you're also an MC. A lot of things.
Many things.
Yeah. So what motivates you every day in each of those careers? Like, what really inspires you to keep going?
Well, we'll start with hospitality first of all.
Okay, yes.
I love to meet new people, just being able to help people in any ways, providing that 110 service when it comes to hospitality. I believe that's where my contributions to being an MC and within the fashion industry as well, to kind of mold why I have these three things happening at this stage. Moving into MC, I think I'm a fabulous speaker. I'm fantastic at talking. Sometimes people don't know how to shut me up. Just to be the voice, to be heard, to be the voice of other younger ones that won't be able to speak out and reach out, and just to show that our young generation could actually get up and speak and be an MC, whether it's at a wedding or a birthday, or just being able to stand up in the crowd anywhere at any time, to present and to be the voice, to speak for others that may not have our ability and our talents to get up and speak. So I'm quite strongly in that, and I just want to be able to just to show our young ones that we can actually do many different things, but then again we have our own free will to what we would like to do. And moving into the fashion world side, I'm still learning. Like every other designer, I'm so sure. But I'm grateful to be part of Pacific International Runway, to the CEO, Faye Lippo Penny. She's given me an opportunity to just to see what it's all about, what it's like. But I have to say, a natural talent of creativity, I've always had that. I guess it's just about having others to enlighten and to make it come true and to build the foundation upon it. So yes, that's my three crazy current happenings at this stage. Yeah. But if I had to choose, my best that I'm working on at the moment is Masters of Ceremony, because I like to speak. I just like to talk, and I just want to make sure that a message is thrown out clear across in any room, and that there is no other second guessing of what's happening at any event. So yeah, but hospitality, I'd always stick back to that as something to fall back through. Not to say that I will, because every day is a progress. And yeah, that's me. That's my three crazy things happening at the moment.
Yeah, and they all linked with each other. They all relate back to communicating and expressing yourself, and also kind of all three of them requires you to meet and be able to associate yourself with other people.
Oh, most definitely. I guess that's why that's my three strong points at this moment. Just being able to speak, just being able to have a voice, I think. I think we find it very hard to be, if you dressed up, you looked amazing, but you couldn't speak to no one at any event, I think that's boring, quite boring.
Yeah.
You want to look amazing, you want to be able to speak to the people that you're going to for like a wedding or like the ball that you and I were at.
Yeah.
I just think what you wear speaks for who you are. But if you're going to rock up into a room and not speak and be boring, what's the point of celebrating whatever event you may go to? Then again, that's up to you. That's everyone's personal thing. So everyone can't be like you and I, otherwise it'll be a boring world. We have too many great, amazing people.
Yeah, I guess so. Or maybe you could be the person that encourages someone else to speak up.
Of course, definitely, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. So when you talked about using your voice to empower others, are you using it for anything in particular?
In my community, the Cook Islands community, I touch on for runways, fashion shows. There are many ladies, or women I should say, in my community that are quite shy about themselves. We do have ones that would like to do the runways, they want to do modeling, but there's no avenue. They think there's no avenue for them. There's many avenues for young women and young men to get up and speak. So I guess my part is just to be like, hey, you can do this. Believe what you are thinking right now. Just being encouraging. I don't think there is a stamp duty where there is a particular word we can use when we come to empower and encourage young ones. But most of all, just to voice in terms of teenage happenings that is happening now. If I could be very blunt, like teenage pregnancy, being gay, being lesbian in your family is quite a raw topic that nobody likes to talk about. So I think it's I feel like it's my ability that I could help young ones like myself to overcome, or just to seek understanding, or just to guide them in the right direction. Because trust me, I'm sure you'd never listen to your mum if you think she's right all the time. You know, that's like myself as well. My mum's never right. You know, young ones like you and I, we actually have the answers to some of the problems or some of the issues that we face today. There's many solutions, but how do you find that when there's no one behind you to help you and support you? So that's where I'd like to use my voice, and just to make a stand that everyone is equal. There's no one different thing about one person. I guess the only difference is if you have a mouth, you can speak. If you have creativity, you can create. Not many people have that talent.
Yeah.
So I just want to make young ones feel that they are safe, that they belong, that they believe in themselves. I've had a couple of friends that's taken their own life through not being accepted as, gay or lesbian, or not being good enough, because that's just how their family sees them, not being good enough. I think every gift to this world is any newborn child being molded into a young adult. That's how I see it. That's how many others may or may not see. So that's where I stand in, to be the voice, and just supporting culturally, religiously, or just on a social basic day-to-day life, being able to empower and help. Trust me, I have my own faults in my own daily living, and that's why I'm able to share stories and give ideas or share solutions. It's because I went through it, and just like anyone else would say, been there, done that. That's what my mum would say. Oh, I've been there, I've done that. But you haven't actually been there and done that when you actually go through that storm. So I feel like, what I say is what I've already been through, or I've been taught, or it's available there. So, yeah. Yeah,
and that's very important. If you're going to be the one to reach out to help other people, you need to know how to help them out.
And most definitely, look, I'm no professor. I don't have a Bachelor of Arts or whatever you call those really fancy certificates and things that we get from uni, or when we spend many, many years studying to be a lawyer or whatever it could be. I'm just a wonderful, ordinary person who can find information and pass on information to be able to help. Because trust me, I know some friends that's been studying for many, many years. They're still working at McDonald's. They're still doing other boring things that they used to do, but that doesn't mean they haven't progressed in their life. Of course. It's knowing what you do, and what you do is knowing Otherwise, you're just doing stuff for the sake of doing it, right? If you would agree. Yeah, of course.
You always need to have a purpose behind everything you do.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like today, there is a purpose for you and I sitting here today.
Yeah.
Just chatting and talking. Having a guideline and having a purpose and accomplishing that purpose and seeing what the results are. I think if you can do that, you're well accomplished of any activity that you can do.
Yeah. And you previously mentioned before that you had your most important challenge you had to overcome was accepting yourself. How do you help others when it comes to when they feel like they're not enough? When their most important support, like their family, isn't there for them, how do you substitute that kind of support?
I think at the end of the day, I could only just tell them what I've gone through and how I've tried to help myself overcome that. Funny story, my mum, I thought my mum never knew, but on my 21st birthday night, had a couple of drinks and we got onto the party bus and then I told her, she goes, my son, I already know I still love you. And I tell them stories like that because we're quite a religious family, Christian family. That's a sin. It's a sin to be gay. It's an automatic conversation that everybody has.
Yeah, it is.
But we're accepted. I'm accepted, you know. And if I could help that person that does not have that backbone structure with their family, I think it's all about just knowing that I'm there to hear, to help and support, and just guiding them to different avenues of where there is support, like where there's more of us, send this person to where there's more of us. Don't go out clubbing at this place because they don't accept you here. Go to this place because there's more of us here. You know, and just letting them know it's okay to be upset. It's okay to feel lonely, but it's also mandatory that you go and find help. Do not find the easiest way out, which most people know what the easiest way out is, right? And I don't want that. We don't want that. But at the end of the day, I believe you can tell them like 10 million things. It's up to them to decide at the end of the day, right? It's like putting a round screwdriver into a square hole. That's impossible. You know, you can even do that. So I just feel if I had to speak to someone, tell them where it is, tell them I'm here, and let them know it's okay to be and to feel like that, you know? Because you are the only one, you're the only person, and no one can ever change that.
That's true. What about those people who maybe they're not looking for the support of their family? They're more after the acceptance of society. Maybe they're just afraid of what people think of them. What would your message be to those people?
I think my message to them, which I've always been letting, you know, certain people that ask for that, that's actually a very big question. My message for them would be self-belief. If you know who you are as a person, if you know where your directory of life has come through, you should not really care about what other people would say. If they don't have the family back support, just seek other ways of loving themselves, really. Just love yourself. I would say that. Love yourself, most importantly, and the world will move around you.
And it takes a very strong individual to do that.
And it really does. And as easy as it sounds, it's never usually the case. Why? Because I've seen it. Or I just tell them it's okay to go home and cry about it, because you can. Get up the next day, rise above it, put one foot in front of the other, and move. Because time is not on our side. We have to enjoy every bit of it.
So you sound very much like the boys and the girls, the youth. And how do you reach out to these people? Do you just do stuff like this where you interview, or do you go out to like organizations and speak to them?
I'm quite heavily involved in our community, in the Cook Islands community. It's more so when I go to your birthdays, to your functions, or if I'm at a fashion show, or if I get invited to dinners with friends. I always touch up on topics. It's like, hey guys, how you guys going? You know, how's your love life? How's your other life? How's everything else happening? You know, and there's always the one person who'll be like, oh, you know, I'm going through this and that. Because then it becomes a opportunity for a whole group of people to talk about that. And that person could be the one to answer questions for the silent inner souls that is too shy to ask. Last couple of months, since I've been here also, I'd go on radio at least once a month just to talk about general stuff, like what's the youth up to today? Where can we get help from? What's happening? What's the issues that we face as a community? How can we fix that? And it's all about networking. I'm quite open. I chat to anybody. And if they don't want to chat to me, that's fine. So I guess it's about being a free, open-spirited, but understanding what I say, where I say it, and what places I say it. So sometimes I think what you say and what you and I say may seem okay, but the others that would be around us, it's not okay for them.
Yeah.
So we must understand where we go, and what we talk about is not always glorious and glamorous to everybody, because it's not. Someone will be upset. If you and I did little jokes, somebody will be upset.
Yeah.
And that's not my intention to do so.
Yeah.
And that's when you go one-on-one, you chat, you know. And it's always usually over a glass of wine or having dinner at the table. So that's how I usually put my messages across. Or just putting great positive vibes on Facebook, on social media, which everybody does. And then you always have those demon eyes that look down on you and not accept what you're saying or think that you're lying, you know.
Yeah.
But that's them, and that's fine. That's totally fine, because there are people like that around,
Yeah.
and we have to accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to perceive what you say
Definitely,
very different.
for sure. Yeah. And I'm not afraid about that. So
Yeah. You just have
Yeah.
to, this is what I meant.
Yeah.
You got
just
it all
conquer.
wrong.
Just conquer. Just keep going.
Yeah. And when you're coming to help these people, what, do you mind if I ask, what has been the most probably memorable moment you've had with someone where you felt like, wow, I really like helped this person out and it really made a big difference in them?
If I have to touch, one of the girls, she's Cook Islander, she loved playing rugby. She was always a boy sporty girl. She's of Cook Island descendant, and her whole family as well. Her mom wanted her to do girl things. And then I said to her, what do you mean by girl things? I said, touch rugby that's a female's game as well.
Yeah.
It's not a male game only. So long story short, she's asked me, she goes, can you just help my daughter have a bit of etiquette? How to sit, how to walk, how to dress, how to speak, and get her onto the runway and wear dresses and skirts and things like this. As crazy as that sounds, it took me at least a couple of months, 3, 4, 5 months to get her out of her shell of being shy, because all she knew was rugby training, school, rugby training, school. And that's all she knew. Today, she's in a dance group, she's wearing many dresses, so crazy, she likes pretty things, and she's always grateful every time we meet at events in our community. So for me, that's a blessing on my own self and with her family as well. And I think that's a gift that if I was able to do it to one person, I could be able to do it to others as well.
Yeah. And how do you feel knowing you made a difference?
Look, I feel very humbly great.
Yeah.
I said to myself, wow, if I can do that, you know, can I do that again and again and again? And yes, that's what I'm doing now. It's all about empowering and supporting. So I feel great.
That's good. And with these people, do you keep in touch with them?
Most definitely, yes, for sure. We always keep in touch. It's just more like, oh, hey, how you going? Or what's your day like? What are you up to? What are you doing this weekend? I think those quick questions, when you're keeping in touch, just kind of gives more urge of security, love, and mind of thought that you're thinking of them. You know, there's not one day I go by not saying, oh, hi, how are you? You know, and I keep in touch with a lot of all the friends that I meet. Even when I'm at weddings or at birthdays, there is a attraction to people just coming up to me and just wanting to have a chat. You know, and obviously we exchange information and we keep in touch, we catch up because, one meetup could lead to many meetups and create different things. So yeah.
That's true. Very true.
Like today, we met at the ball. Here we are. Classic
Here we are.
example of networking. Amazing.
Yeah. And when you're using your voice and you're advocating for the youth, have you faced any challenges throughout your journey?
Most definitely. If I had to say no, that would be a lie. I've had an incident where I've come across at a radio interview, a listener has called and just said these words: "You have no bloody idea what you're talking about. You're gay. Just don't even talk about that topic because you don't know anything." And for me, that was very hard to take on board because I was still learning at the time.
Yeah.
I think every day is a learning curve for me. So that was one of the hardest moments in life. But after that caller called in, I had another person that called in and said, "Look, you just do what you have to do. Just share the information."
Yeah.
Because it may open up other people's minds and trains of thoughts. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm empowered now. I'm quite positive about that. I think if anything, if someone said, "This is bad," or "You're doing this wrong," I won't be upset about it. I'll have to go back and see, oh, how come? What did I do wrong? We have to accept strong criticism and accept the fact that we're not always going to be perfect as makeup on our face, because it's never perfect. So
Yeah. And with the work that you do in hospitality, fashion, or MC, do you incorporate those kind of things that say, so you use that as a voice? How about when it comes to, say, fashion?
Fashion, well, in terms of fashion, I think boys can wear heels. Boys can wear long tight pants. Boys can wear trains on their garments. Men can wear lace.
As you are right now.
As I am right now. I think I use that voice in that kind of form. I think fabric and clothing does speak a lot of a person. If you wear too many big jewelries, I just think it means you're a loud, colorful, great big personality person. And that's how I use in that term. So it's just like your normal black and white suit. That's fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm speaking diamantes, glitz, glamour, everything, chiffon, big buffy dresses or garments that a boy like myself would wear, I think it shows the world that you can be whoever you would like to be.
Yeah.
But considering that you're mindful of others.
Yeah.
And I think that's where some of our young ones get it a bit wrong. They think they're doing it right. But they're not. So they get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I've been there, got myself out of that hot water.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm free today.
And then when it comes to your advocacies, you're obviously still working on it and will continue to do so, I assume?
Most definitely. I think every day is a learning curve, and every day for me is a voice. Just being able to see someone not happy or upset here at work or just anywhere where I may go, it's as simple as, "Hey, how you going?" Simple as that.
Yeah.
And still learning. There's other avenues that's available for me to reach out and get more inspiration and be more understanding. of our LGBTQI community and just everyone in general. To be able to help is my main goal at this stage.
Yeah, and what do you hope to see in the future, let's say?
What do I see in the future? Well, I hope to have my own fashion label, to be honest.
Yeah.
Since stepping into that, that's where I'm heading at this stage. And to be able to help up and coming people like myself and to grow
Yeah.
and network with wonderful people.
Yeah.
So
That's good. It's very
Yeah.
good. Well, it sounds like you're touching multiple people and in very different perspectives too, just helping them in whatever you can. And I think it's very important for them as well to find the courage to be strong enough to find help and support, because sometimes you're not always going to find it in where you think it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to go out of your comfort zone and search for it yourself. Yeah. So I think we learned that nothing is ever going to come to you with a silver spoon. Sometimes when it comes to your most hardest challenges, or even just accepting yourself, self-love, self-confidence, that stuff, you need to fight for it. You need to learn the skills to be able to master that. And sometimes you're not going to find it where you think it is. As I said, you have to go out, maybe go online, find your inspirations, and maybe even just chat to them. Go hit up their DM or their message. You never know, they'll read it and they can help you. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time at the next episode of Behind the Lens. From learning about his childhood, his experiences, and the challenges he's had to overcome, from moving to his hometown to a completely different country, Isaia shows us that life is fulfilled with contributing many different puzzles that comes from the challenges and experiences you've had from when you were born. He shows us that personality is built on from having the confidence and from being a strong person, strong enough to reach out to other people, to seek support and help, and strong enough that you can push yourself past the challenges. This is another episode with Behind the Lens. We'll see you guys next time.